We talk a lot about sons not having fathers and the results of that, and we don't talk enough about female fatherlessness. So I want to get into this video, provide a little feedback.
We play into the powers that be that keep fathers out of the household. And there's so much emphasis on the importance of Black fathers and fathers in the lens of their children's lives, specifically their sons. There's so much blame and emphasis on how Black men's absence in the home and fathers in general's absence in the home affects our young men, but there's not enough conversation about how it affects us women. I will argue that it possibly is more detrimental to us than it is to you all.
She may very well have a good point there that it might be even more detrimental to females. I can see that point of view. I have some ideas as to why.
Women are just out here running reckless. I have been one of them. I'm 100% accountable. And I wish that more women would be accountable and honest about how the lack of fatherhoods in our lives have messed us up. A lot of us are promiscuous, liars, deceptive, just negative things that we shouldn't be. The list could go on and on. Walking around thinking that we have no value, no direction. A lot of us are bad with money. We don't know how to handle our tempers.
As you know, this is another video of what do I tell my daughter. This is part 3. I wanted to review this video. I mean, this young lady, she looks like she's probably in her late 20s or mid to late 20s. Doesn't even matter, but she's young, right? In my opinion. So my daughter is still pretty young. My daughter's still only 7. It's an interesting thing. We were at the park a couple of days ago, and my daughter just playing, her and my son playing in the park, a bunch of other kids in the park, and there was a zip line thing at the park that she loves to get on, and she was getting on that, and I think we were getting ready to leave, and she was still on it, and then some other kids came along and I think said something to her. I wasn't close enough to see what they said to her, but apparently they wanted her to get off, and she wasn't ready to get off, but we were getting ready to leave, and they called her a crybaby or something like that. And my daughter, she's a tough one. She's super smart, and she's also really really tough. You know what I mean? And her and my son been doing karate for years, a couple years now, and she's ready to defend herself. And I'm laughing because it's so cute. In some cases, she's ready to fight. And I had to talk to her, like I said, talking about a 7-year-old girl, but I had to talk to her because she was so mad when she came up to me when we were getting ready to leave, and she wanted to go back. She wanted to say something back so bad. She couldn't let it go. And I had to, of course, tell her to leave. We got home and she was still mad. And I'm thinking this little 7-year-old girl has such a strong will, which is really good. But I try to talk to her in a way to help her control her emotions. That's one of the things I think is so important for little girls. It's important to help them control their emotions and their temper if they do have a temper, because sometimes we can let that kind of slide with little girls where we feel like, oh, they're just emotional, and we'll more want to check little boys if they have a temper, because we know that especially for boys with tempers, the consequences are a lot more serious. So I talked to her, helped her to understand that although she can defend herself, if someone puts their hands on you, you defend yourself. Fighting should be the last resort. So the power to walk away.
How to keep our hands to ourselves. We don't know how to listen because we lacked that authoritative male role model in our household, a lot of times by our mothers doing. I will argue more times than not by our mothers doing. It is up to us as women to vet the men properly that we are having children with. So now the world is a mess, and women are sitting around complaining about men all day, every day, focusing on what men aren't and what they're not doing instead of focusing on what is wrong with us as a female species.
The vetting of the men that you bring in your life, that is so important. And obviously, I'm not having that conversation in any way with my daughter right now. She's too young. But it is a conversation that we'll definitely have as she enters into, um, her teenage years. So I have some years before I have to deal with that. But
Why do a lot of us not even know how to go out of the house dressed properly, dressed with respect, dressed in a way for a man to treat us and see us as the princesses, queens, whatever we claim that we are?
this might be a little controversial, but a lot of the women walking around with the what do you call, I don't know, the bonnets. I don't tell grown women what to do. But one thing I don't do, I don't allow my daughter to walk out of the house or go anywhere with any bonnet or anything on her head. We don't do that over here. Why? Because even at her young age right now, I explained to her, we're not going to walk out of the house like that because it's not presentable. Helping them to understand their actual value and the judgment of who they bring into their life. That is what saves a little girl and ultimately a woman. Without good judgment, most of these girls are doomed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I thought this was an awesome video to review. Hit the subscribe button. Of course, hit the like button for the algorithm. Crucial Convo.